Hi everyone, we're jumping right into this video. I'm going to take this stamp set from Simon Says Stamps and these individual flowers. This came in a card kit back in, I think it was November or maybe September. But I'm going to arrange them in my MISTI how I want them. And I'm going to start with the first flower that I want in the foreground because I'm going to do some masking. So with my VersaFine Onyx ink, I'm going to ink that first flower up and stamp it. And then I'm going to mask it. This is masking paper from Simon Says Stamp. And now I'm going to arrange my flowers again to see how I want the next one. And I'm going to ink this one up and stamp it. And I'm going to put another mask over that one so that I can do my last flower, which is, this one's going to be in the background because the other two flowers are masked. That means this flower is going to be in the background. And that frame I just put around there is the frame I'm going to be using for my finished card. So I was just kind of making sure everything was going to be in picture correctly. And I'm stamping that one down last, and I am going to mask that because I know that in my final picture this flower will look like it's floating. So I'm going to take the first flower and I'm going to stamp the same stem underneath it so that it looks like it has a stem as well. And here is a full masking, including the stems and the stem leaves. And here I'm going to put the frame around my card again, or my card front again. And I'm going to take this stencil from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to trace with a pencil the smallest cloud. And I'm going to take a I think it's black soot ink. It's just a black ink. And I'm going to ink blend that onto the stencil so that I get a nice silhouette of this cloud. This actually won't show up in my card, but I lined it up with the frame so that I know where my center cloud is going to be, because this is where my sentiment's going to sit. And now I'm going to look at the top of the stencil where the clouds are, the cloud shadows are. And I'm going to take that same black and I'm going to ink blend it lighter so that it kind of looks gray. And I'm going to do that for a couple layers here. And then I'm going to switch to a dark blue. I will try to link the actual colors down below. I seem to never to be able to remember that as I'm going. But I'm going to do a few layers of the blue, and then I'm going to go lighter and lighter as I go down. So as I'm showing you this, I'm going to tell you that this video is in conjunction with a Facebook group called Team Tiny. And in this group, we provide video hops for smaller channels to showcase their skills. And the hashtag for this video is called hashtag, I think it's Team Tiny April Showers. I'll have it down in the description box below, and it should be highlighted blue. It's a clickable hashtag. So all you have to do is go in my description box, expand it, and click on that hashtag, and it will bring up everybody else's videos who are participating in this hop. And it's just a really great way to showcase smaller card making channels and make sure that we get ourselves seen. And I think it's really great because I have learned so many things from YouTube, including smaller channels. Like, some people just have the most brilliant minds when it comes to crafting and card making. And honestly, I would have never have discovered even like 75 to 95% of the techniques that I know how to do have straight up come from YouTube alone. And it's kind of where I found my love for card making, to be honest. So here I'm going into my lightest color, which I'm doing a blue gradient here from gray to blue. And in between these colors, I am wiping off on a dry paper towel, and I'm also cleaning my stencil with just a dry paper towel to make sure I'm not transferring too much any of the colors. It's not going to be perfect, but it is a really quick way to clean up in between. And now I'm going to trace this cloud onto a blank white piece of cardstock, and I'm going to cut it out for my sentiment. And now I'm going to take that black soot again, and I'm going to very lightly ink blend around the edges just to give it some depth and interest. And I'm going to stamp on just a random sentiment, just something loving that I can send to somebody. I didn't really want to include the April showers theme in my sentiment because I honestly don't have any type of stamp sets that relate to this theme. But to me, a April shower means a desert thunderstorm because I live in the western part of the United States that gets desert storms. And this is all we get. We've actually had quite a few the last few days, and we're going to get some more for sure before summer hits. This is just kind of normal for my region. I do live in the beautiful state of Nevada, and we get lots and lots of thunderstorms here. So for the coloring, you can see that I took some of my Arteza brush pens. Real brush pens is what they're specifically called. And I am doing straight marker to marker blending. I am not using my watercolor brushes or water. You don't have to do that. So this is just one of many techniques that you can use with these markers. If you have any type of watercolor based markers, you can do this, including the zigs. You can just go straight marker to marker blending. The set I have is pretty large. I want to say it might be the 80 set or somewhere around there. So there are tons of different shades in each color group. So it's really easy to do something like this. So I just took, a lighter green and a darker green, a light yellow and an orange. And now I'm taking a darker pink and just stroking where I think the shadows will be. And then I'm going to take a lighter pink and I'm going to blend and color in the rest of the flower petals. And these pens blend so beautifully. In my humble, honest opinion, it blends nicer than Copics and alcohol markers. I know that's pretty crazy to say, but I really, really love coloring with water-based pens. It is kind of a tough medium to work with in card making because, as you will see later, what I demonstrate in this video, it's hard to mix media with water-based mediums because it can kind of mess it up, especially if you're doing like wet on wet mediums. But if you use Copics or alcohol-based markers, they're more permanent. So wet on wet mediums tend to work a little better with Copics, I will say that. So now I'm taking that same frame that I've been working with and I die cut it in my die cut machine so that I have this center piece for my card panel. And I'm taking that same exact rectangle And I'm running it through my die cut machine to make a frame. And I'm going to put some 3M foam tape on the back. And I'm going to attach it to my card base, which is an A2 card base, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm just going to carefully lay that down and push it so that it attaches really well. And I'm going to just run a flat tape runner across my panel here, and I'm going to insert it inside of that frame so that it sits just inside. And the frame die that I use is from Waffle Flower. It's their A2 rectangular layering dies. And this is the epitome of card making sadness here. I'm almost out of my double-sided foam tape. I know, it's so sad. I got to get to the store and get more, which is really hard right now during quarantine, I will say. So now I am applying this to my cloud because I'm going to pop up my cloud in sentiment. So the frame is popped up and my cloud and sentiment are popped up. And I'm just going to apply it there. And I'm going to take a pen and attempt to handwrite the word sending in some hand lettering. It's a little off center, but it looks pretty decent. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. I post at least once a week. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, depending on how often I can shoot videos. But I do love card making and I hope you'll join me. So now I'm taking glossy accents and I'm going to do smaller dots at the top by the cloud and bigger dots down by the flowers, and some on top of the flowers to represent rain for my April showers. This is what I was talking about when you do wet on wet medium. Because the glossy accents glue is wet, it will kind of pick up a tiny bit of that water medium below and displace it. Sometimes it's barely noticeable, sometimes it's really bad. I think it just depends on how dry your base is. But this is the final look. I think it's so cute. I love this idea and I hope you guys really like this card. Please make sure to support Team Tiny.